Queen Lyra, regal and wise, felt a pang of fear. Her tiny companion Celeste was gone, vanished on this strange, vibrant planet called Earth. Lyra had come to Earth on a secret mission. Celeste was always by her side. Now panic welled in Lyra's chest. Her spacecraft, disguised as a house, stood silent. Its technology was useless in this moment. Celeste was more than just a pet. She was family. The thought of returning home without Celeste was unbearable. The Earth's sun mocked Lyra's growing despair. Its warmth felt hollow. Lyra had to find her. Her heart ached with longing. Lyra, cloaked in human form, stepped into the city. The chaos of Earth assaulted her senses. Every fibre of her being screamed for Celeste. Days blurred into nights. Lyra, tireless in her search, followed every lead, every whisper of a shimmering creature matching Celeste's description. She navigated crowded streets, her alien senses overwhelmed by the sights and sounds of human life. The city, a labyrinth of concrete and glass, felt like an impenetrable jungle. Hope flickered and died with each passing hour. Posters with Celeste's image, printed with the last of Lyra's advanced technology, yielded nothing but curious glances from passers-by. The weight of her loneliness grew heavier, crushing her spirit. It was as if Celeste had simply vanished into thin air. Lyra's heart ached with a profound sense of isolation. Despite the constant activity swirling around her, she felt utterly alone on this planet teeming with life. This mission, once filled with diplomatic purpose, now felt trivial in the face of her overwhelming grief. One day, weary and close to despair, Lyra found herself in a park. The laughter of children, the chirping of birds only intensified her own silent agony. As she sank onto a bench, tears, hot and silent, streamed down her face. "Lost something?" a voice asked, gentle and kind. Lyra looked up, startled. A young man, his eyes reflecting the warmth of the setting sun, stood before her. His gaze was open, his smile disarming. He had a calming presence, a sense of quiet strength that resonated with Lyra's own weary heart. Warily, Lyra explained her plight. She spoke of Celeste, her shimmering scales and playful nature, her voice trembling with unshed tears. To her surprise, the young man listened patiently, his eyes reflecting a genuine empathy that surprised her. He didn't scoff or dismiss her tale as the ramblings of a heartbroken stranger. "My name is Daniel," he offered, his smile widening, "and I think I might be able to help." Lyra, touched by his kindness, felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. Perhaps, just perhaps, this human, this Daniel, could help her find Celeste. Daniel, it turned out, was a veterinarian with a deep love for animals, a love that extended to even the most unusual creatures. He listened intently as Lyra described Celeste, her unique physiology, her alien origins. His eyes, however, held no judgment, only a quiet fascination and a desire to help. They began their search, Daniel's local knowledge complementing Lyra's advanced but alien technology. They scoured animal shelters, combed through parks, and followed every lead, however improbable. Daniel, with his infectious optimism, breathed new life into Lyra's fading hopes. As they searched, they talked. Lyra found herself sharing stories of her home world, of its breathtaking beauty and complex social structure. Daniel, in turn, spoke of Earth, its wonders and its flaws. Their conversations, bridging the interstellar divide, were filled with laughter, shared wonder, and a growing sense of connection. For the first time since Celeste's disappearance, Lyra felt a glimmer of hope, a warmth that spread through her chest, chasing away the chill of despair. It wasn't just the hope of finding Celeste, but also the unexpected comfort she found in Daniel's presence. One evening, as the sun painted the sky in hues of orange and purple, Daniel turned to Lyra, his eyes filled with concern. "You miss her terribly, don't you?" he asked softly. Lyra, caught off guard by the depth of his understanding, could only nod, tears welling up in her eyes. with the welfare of her people. Her disappearance would have caused panic, thrown her entire world into disarray. She had a duty, a responsibility that stretched far beyond her own happiness. And then the message came. A faint signal, picked up by her ship's advanced technology, a message from her home world. Relief and dread washed over her in equal measure. They had tracked her ship, knew she was on Earth, they were coming for her. Lyra's carefully constructed facade crumbled. She could no longer hide the truth from Daniel, from the man who had shown her such kindness, such compassion. With a heavy heart, she revealed her true form, her shimmering scales, her four-armed grace. Section 6, The Weight of Responsibility, a Crown's Heavy Burden. Daniel, to his credit, didn't flinch. He stared at Lyra, his eyes wide with wonder, but his expression held no fear, only a quiet acceptance. "You're an alien," he breathed, his voice barely a whisper. Lyra, bracing herself for rejection, for fear, was met with something altogether unexpected. "You found her?" Daniel asked, his voice filled with concern. Lyra shook her head, her heart heavy. She explained everything, her home world, her responsibility as queen, the message that summoned her back. As she spoke, the weight of her crown, invisible yet heavy, pressed down on her. "I have to go back," Lyra finished, her voice laced with despair. She had to return to her people, to her duties. But the thought of leaving Daniel, of leaving this unexpected haven she had found on this alien planet, filled her with a profound sense of loss. Daniel listened, his silence speaking volumes. He understood. Not just the alien concept of queens and distant worlds, but the weight of responsibility, the pull of duty. He reached out, his hand hovering inches from hers. "Go," he said, his voice rough with emotion. "They need you." Yet she knew in her heart that this, their brief time together, was merely a fleeting moment in the grand tapestry of the cosmos. Lyra looked at Daniel, his kind face etched with a mixture of sadness and acceptance. He understood the impossible choice she faced, the conflicting forces tearing her apart, and in that moment she realized the depth of her feelings for him, a love that transcended species and galaxies. "I won't forget you," Lyra whispered. Section 8. A bittersweet farewell, sacrifice for the greater good. Daniel didn't try to stop her as she turned towards her ship, its sleek form shimmering faintly in the moonlight. He knew their brief encounter would forever mark their hearts. The memory of their shared laughter would remain. Lyra turned back one last time, her eyes searching his. "Thank you," she mouthed, brimming with emotion. With a heavy heart, Lyra activated the ship's cloaking device. The vessel shimmered, fading from view, leaving Daniel alone beneath the vast night sky. Section 9. A legacy of love memories that transcend galaxies. Lyra returned to her world, her heart heavy with the weight of her responsibilities and the bittersweet memory of her time on Earth. She ruled wisely, her decisions tempered by the empathy and understanding she had gained during her brief sojourn among humans. She never forgot Daniel, or the kindness he'd shown her. His memory became a beacon, a reminder that love and compassion could exist even in the face of insurmountable odds. She carried his memory with her, a cherished secret hidden within her heart. And on Earth, Daniel continued his work, his life forever changed by his encounter with an alien queen. He never spoke of his experience, But the memory of Lyra, her grace, her intelligence, her capacity for love, stayed with him, shaping his worldview, making him a kinder, more compassionate man.